Hello class, today is Friday and I'm going to be posting a recording of just some of the main ideas that we've been going through and what are some of the main points that I want you to make sure to carry over into next year. So the first one, and I'm going to have a concept check. I'm going to put that up after this and to go through all of this. So the first thing I do want to go through is just adding and subtracting negatives. So if I have something like -3, let me zoom in a little bit. If I have something like -3 minus a -4. So if we have something like that, -3 minus a -4. So remember, we were adding the opposite. So we're going -3 plus 4, like that. Okay? Now when we add the opposite, when we're adding, one's negative, one's positive. So we have to think of that as 4 minus 3, and that equals 1. So we know this is 1, and then you have to take the sign of the larger. So which is bigger, 3 or 4? Well, we know 4 is bigger, so we're going to take a positive. So we know the solution to that's +1. And that kind of carries over it when we were doing adding and subtracting linear equations. So we might have something like this. Well, hold on a minute here. Let me pause this. So when we looked at linear equations, we were looking at something like 2x plus 1 plus, so right now I'm just going to look at addition. So if we're going to be adding these, so we're going to go 3x plus 2. So right now we're just going to be adding all of these. Okay. So when we're adding, we can take away the parentheses because we don't have to change anything since we're adding. So this is the same as 2x plus 1 plus 3x plus 2. And then you can go through and combine your common like terms. So there's a 2x here, a 3x here. So 2x plus a 3x, 2x plus 3x, that's when you're just going to add the coefficients. So we get a 5x. Okay? And then we just have a 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2. And there we get a 3. So then when we put these together, we just get a 5x plus 3. Like that. Okay? So now when we were subtracting these things, I'm going to go 2x plus 1 minus 3x plus 2. Now this one's going to be different, right? Because we're going to be subtracting these. So when we subtract these linear expressions, we want to add, just like how we did up here, we added the opposite. So down here we're going to add the opposite of all of these. Okay, so then this doesn't change. So I leave that as a 2x plus 1 minus, now that's a positive 3x because there's nothing in front of it, so that's understood to be a positive. If we have a positive 3x, we're going to add the opposite, so we're going to go plus -3x, like that. Okay? And then we're going to do the same here. Okay? So we have to change, this is a plus 2, so we have to change this negative, we're going to change this to a minus +2. Like that. Or -2 if you want to. Okay? And then now when we put them together, what's 2x minus 3x? 2x minus 3x. You have to think of it, what's 2 minus 3? You're going to be left with a -1x. And that's the same as -x. Okay? Then you have to put together your other ones. Okay? So I have a +1 minus 2, okay? So when I put those two together, I get a 1 minus 2, and 1 minus 2 is -1. So when I put these together, I get a -x minus 1, like that, okay? So when you're subtracting, make sure to take that subtraction and you want to distribute it to both the numbers. That's why both of these, this was a positive 3x and this was plus 2. It became -2 and then a -3x. Okay? And that was, then we went into addition. Oh yeah, we went into one step. Then we went into one-step equations. Okay? So I'll go through one more of these. Okay, so I'm going to be given 5x minus 2 minus 3x plus 4, like that. So now I'm going to go through, I'm going to solve this. Okay, so my 5x minus 2 stays the same. Now I'm going to change both of these. So this is going to become a minus 3x minus 4, like that. Okay, because these are both positive, so this negative is going to make it both subtraction. You're essentially distributing that 1. Now I have a 5x here, a minus 3x here, so I'm left with 2x. Negative 2 minus 4 is a negative 6. Okay? So I'm going to go over a couple, the 4 basic one-step equations that we were looking at. And then I'm going to be putting up a short little quiz type thing. Okay. So remember, all operations have like an opposite. Like the opposite of addition is subtraction. And the opposite of multiplication is division. They go hand in hand. Okay. So when we're looking at one-step equations, we always want to do the opposite. So if we're given a subtraction, we're going to want to add. If we're given a multiplication, we're going to want to divide, and vice versa on both of them. So if I have something like x plus 2 equals 5, like something like that, now you might be able to do that in your head and be like, oh, that's just 3. But you have to realize how you came to that conclusion. You have to realize what you did. What you did is, in your own brain, you just subtracted 2 from both sides. So then what's 2 minus 2? I'm left with 0. So I can just say x is 5 minus 2 is 3. Okay. Now we were circling and making roads. All right. You can do that method if you'd like. All right. So try this one. X plus 9 equals 13. Pause this and try that on your own. All right. If you try it on your own, I'm going to find my variable, draw a little line down. Now I'm trying to get this by itself. So if I'm adding 9 to it, that means I have to subtract 9 from it. And what I do to both one side, I have to do to the other. This just becomes x equals 13 minus 9 is 4. So that's how you solve an addition problem. Okay? Well, what about a subtraction problem? No different. No different. X minus 2 equals 7, let's say. All right? So when you're looking at it, find your variable, draw a line down there, and then we want to get this by itself. So we have to do the opposite of subtracting 2, so now I'm going to add 2 to both sides, like that. So now negative 2 plus 2, I'm just left with my x, and then 7 plus 2, I'm left with 9. So I know my x equals 9. Okay? So try this one on your own. X minus 7 equals 14. And pause the video and try it on your own. Alright. Hopefully what you did was you found the variable. Draw a little line down. You want to get this by itself. So to get that by itself, I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Just like that. Negative 7 plus 7 is 0. So I'm left with x equals 14 plus 7 is 21. And then don't forget, you can always go through and check these. If I say x is 21, I can see if 21 minus 7 does equal 14. And 14 does equal 14. So it checks. Okay? So that's how you do the addition and subtraction. So multiplication and division, not much different. Now I am limited with how I can input the problems. So first thing I want to do is go over x when you're dividing. So if I have something like x divided by 2, something like that, since I'm dividing this x by 2, that means I want to do the opposite. Oh, wait, I apologize. We'll say this equals 8. Alright, so you see how this is a fraction. Now in my computer, on the assignment, you may see it like this. X divided by 2 equals 8. I like this notation a lot more than this, but I am limited. Okay, so these two are equal. Okay. Anyhow, to solve this, since I'm dividing x by 2, I'm going to have to multiply both sides by 2. I'm going to have to multiply both sides by 2 like that. So then those 2's cancel. And then when I go across 8 times 2, I know x is going to be 16. And then this, I just wanted to put this here just because this is what it'll look like. You may have to multiply it by 2 like this. It just looks a little different. But x is, then these would cancel. You still get x equals 16. Okay, so I might be limited on my technology. Alright, so try this on your own. I'm going to try to write it like how it's going to appear in the thing. X divided by 3 equals 5. Alright, so maybe pause the video and see what you can come up with. Alright, hopefully try it on your own. So if I'm dividing this x by 3, now I have to multiply both sides by 3, just like that. Okay, so then these 3's cancel. 5 times 3, I'm left with x equals 15, just like that. Alright, try one more. So if I have something like x divided by 4 equals 8. So if I have something like that, try to pause the video, see if you can do it on your own. Alright, hopefully you paused it. To solve this, since I'm dividing x by 4, I'm going to multiply both sides by 4 over 1. Like that. Those cancel. Hopefully you had x equals 32 as your solution. Okay, and that's how you would do division. And the last one I do want to talk about is multiplication. It's the one that you'll probably see the most. So that's something like this. So if I'm given, well, here, let me get a piece of paper. So if I'm multiplying, or I have a coefficient in front of a variable, so if I have something like this, 4x equals, I don't know, 12, let's say. Alright, since I'm multiplying that variable, to undo multiplication I have to divide both sides by 4. So those cancel, x equals 3, just like that. Okay, and then just divide. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Maybe something, I'll try another one here. So 2x equals 10, let's say. Find my variable, draw that down. I'm multiplying that variable. Since I'm multiplying that variable, I have to do the opposite. So that means I have to divide by 2. Divide by 2. I'm left with an x. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Alright, so try this one on your own. Whoops. Let's see. Let's go 3x equals 6. Okay. Pause the video. Try it on your own. Make sure to show your work. So the first step is find the variable. See what you're doing to it. I'm multiplying it by 3. Since I'm multiplying it, that means I'm going to have to divide both sides by 3. So those 3's cancel. I'm left with x equals 6 divided by 3 is 2. Just like that. And then you can check 3 times 2 is 6. So you can check the work. Okay? Alright, after watching this video, try to do the concept check. I'm going to be putting it up right now. Alright, have a good weekend. Try to complete that thing by Monday. Thank you.